Hello and welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Today we will have a look at why the New Zealand 8 current Olympic champion is the best 8 and the fastest 8 in the world. I was fortunate enough to find some training footage. Thanks to her coach Tony O'Connor, who is an Irishman. There's a lot of training footage on YouTube. And what I'm going to do right now is have a look at the best videos I found and talk about what makes this 8 super special. The original video that caught my eye is this 500-meter piece. And the way they start the race, that was the first thing that interested me, is spectacular. That's start stroke number 1. Look how slow and composed. They take forever to even think about the second stroke. They collect the first stroke and then, once more, check out the finish. Hold, stabilize. Next one, no hurry, no stress. That's the most important message. Now for all you beginners out there, rowing is not about trying to be extra long at the catch. It's not about trying to be extra long at the finish. It's not about trying to be extra fast and quick at the start of a race. It's about getting into your game. And if there's one nation in general that has perfection at that, the art of that, it's New Zealand, definitely. I'm not trying to be a fanboy in this video. I'm trying to pick out, there are a couple of things I don't like, but there are so many good things I just want to point out. And one of the greatest things is that start of a race. They are now almost up to 40, that's now 42, 43 strokes a minute, if I counted correctly with my stopwatch. And the way they get into the game is spectacular. Let's recap this once more. I can't look enough at that. The first finish, now, everybody's taking time to really, it's like catching the finish. It's like pulling to a very specific point of height, making sure the blades come out of the water extra cleanly. What I see with a lot of beginner crews is they do, they work. No, we will check out some training footage later on. But the way they collect the finish and say, what? And they take their time. I mean, this is the start of a race. It's the start of a 500-meter piece. It's not like they're taking it easy. Take their time now, all the time in the world. Second, third, four, five, race pace. That's the stroke rate. And now gradually, as the boat is getting momentum, they are responding with faster recoveries. And now, and that's what's looking so spectacular about this 8. It's not about like everybody's trying to be fast on his own terms. They move as a team. They move as a collective unit. And I think this is what Tony O'Connor perfected with that team. There are a couple of things like body positions and hip angles and so that I found not to be perfect. And we have to be realistic. Not everything about this 8 is going to be perfect. But apparently, whatever they did, it was so good that this 8 is the fastest 8 in the world as of 2021. There is not one 8 faster, otherwise we would have seen it at the Olympics. Maybe some university crew, I doubt it. Seriously, I doubt it. Nobody's trying to be extra long at the catch. See how little shoulder motion we have? Look across the entire boat. Very, very little shoulder motion. Almost none. At the finish, how much shoulder rotation do we see? Almost none. The question is, how do they get the blades in and out of the water? Some of them rotate around the hip. You will see this later on. This is not effective in my humble opinion, but I'm certainly not here to judge. So I don't want to sit here and say, this is not good. But on the other hand side, just because a boat is Olympic champion, it doesn't mean everything is perfect and we should imitate every single thing. So what I'm trying to point out are the very, very good things they do. Once more, shoulder stability. Enormous shoulder stability. And I'm going to show you some training footage right now where you see how to work on that. During that exercise, they learn, Tony, correct me if I'm wrong, but during that exercise, they learn how to place the blade in the water without going too deep. bap. It's such a delicate catch. That's what makes it so special. You'll never see a lot of splash at the catch here. It's all about having the blade slip into the water, up, not deeper than necessary, and still use a bit of a backswing, but not too much. And that's what you can practice very well with the outside arm, as you don't have the inside arm interfering. And now that they row with both arms again, they try to stay in that motion pattern and understand now, oh, okay, this is how I need to use the inside arm in order to achieve the same result. And that, if you have an entire 8 doing this, this is very, very smooth. The catch is not about being aggressive. The catch is not about being extra fast. The catch is about reducing your task load to an absolute minimum. The less you have to do with the catch, the quicker the blade is going to be connected. And ultimately, it's all about connection at the catch. And some of these tasks can be reducing weight on your hands. What they're doing right now is definitely reduction of weight on the hands. Otherwise, there is no way you will have a quickly connected catch and at the same time stable shoulders. It is impossible. You can't do both at the same time. Another thing, look how loose they are, number 7. Look how loose they are on the recovery. Check the hand right there. Now, no tight grip. This is a super loose and easy grip. They work around the pin. That's another very important aspect. It's not about trying to go straight forward and trying to be extra long. This is usually, if you're a starboard, this is usually when instead of being with the oar handle parallel with your shoulder girdle, rotating out or rotating slightly forward out. A lot of people who try to be extra long in sweep rowing eventually do this in order to stretch more forward. And you don't see this here. They don't try to be extra long. Wherever they are, they are. Another thing I admire a lot is the finish posture, the connection. So the abs connected with the foot stretchers. It's just an outside hand practice, but the way they are connected is spectacular. That's another piece of footage I wanted to show you. You usually get the handwriting of a team when you look at their steady state rowing, and there's not a lot of footage of steady state rowing out there when it comes to high performance teams. The way they catch and the pause they have at the finish to collect the boat is outstanding. It gives the boat a lot of rhythm, and especially in sweep rowing, it's essential to set the boat up and understand how to set up the boat. It is not like you can't change things every second stroke. That's for you beginners out there. It's about pulling to the same level every single finish. And if you change something, you want to keep that adaptation for at least 30 strokes so that everybody else can adapt, because it's going to offset the boat momentarily, even though it may be a good change that you're doing. And that relaxation at the finish is I'm losing my words here right now, because this is something we don't see very often. Just look at his hands right there. That's relaxation. It's body connection, so they're not slumped over. That's full body connection. Another interesting aspect is that Tony O'Connor moved everybody around in the boat quite frequently during training to find the best combination. And somebody commented on some of Tony's videos, and I'm going to link his channel. It is a very, very interesting channel for everybody who wants to be really, really good at rowing. Tony answered on one of the comments himself and said, yeah, he wanted to find the best combination. And somebody else commented, it really doesn't matter in which combination you look at these guys, they always look great. It's like they had to win in every possible combination. The Olympic gold also is the result of being left alone, not having a long season, and kind of being the outsider. I think that's a very important aspect of that. It's probably a mental aspect. And another thing is that if you're left to prepare and you have a long uninterrupted preparation, I know they had to do a final qualification regatta, but that If I'm not completely mistaken, I think that was about the only main interruption they had. There was no World Cup season. They didn't have to travel across Europe to do World Cups, da, 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 da. It was the final qualification regatta, and then it was the Olympics. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's about the schedule they had. And if you just look at that, light pedaling, it's a different setup now. They even had tandem rigs where they tried out, tandem is when you have 2 guys on both sides and 2 guys on stroke side. So you have same sides right behind each other. It doesn't need to be stroke side, both sides, stroke side, both sides all the time. The general understanding of how to move the boat and when to accelerate was always there. No matter which footage I checked, there was always the understanding of how to move the boat simultaneously. Now, as a coach, there are a couple of things you want to synchronize first. In my humble opinion, the first thing you want to synchronize is the finish. You can start with the blade work or with body work. I prefer to do body work first and then blade work. I mean, you don't need to talk about basics here, but for you beginners out there, everybody's connected. Nobody is leaning back too much. By leaning back too much, I mean losing connection to the foot stretchers, taking too much time to recover to get the upper body back into position. Second thing, watch the finish, how they exit. Yep, that's one exit. It's one blade. And that creates a lot of difference. If you have 3 exits, this is something so simple, but at the same time, a lot of folks simply forget to care about this enough. You have to spend a lot of time being absolutely spot on precise. Now, another thing, watch how the blades and when the blades get clearance from the water. They don't do it now, they do it just after the finish. Finish, the blades cleanly exit the water. They're not off as far as they could be. So they don't try to be there, one motion. That's very important. This is what offsets the boat. They exited cleanly. Let's go back a couple of frames. Clean exit, stabilize the boat, catch the finish, and now they get clearance. Look at that. Exit up, or exit hands down and then forward. That timing across the entire boat, no matter where they sit, is what makes or breaks an 8, especially in sweep rowing. Look at this. Exit up. Exit up. Exit. This may, if you're a super pro and you're already a seasoned rower, this may for you be like, yeah, obvious. It's of course, it is not that obvious. I've rowed in 8s myself quite a long time, and it is not common knowledge across the entire boat usually. It takes a coxswain to remind everybody, but it also takes discipline to want to have it that way. Exit up. And that's what's creating that fluidity, because nobody's worried about catching a crab. I read in one of the comments somebody caught a crab actually. It also happens in these boats. I think they crashed a rigger, somebody fell out of the boat because of a crab they caught. That happens. But that fluidity comes from not doing excessive motion. If you are a beginner and you want to row this way, what are the things you need to worry about? What are the things you need to work on? First thing, finish, set up the body. When you lean back, make sure shoulder girdle is parallel to the inboard. The outside hand should be, elbow hand should be about same position. When you lead out, take your time, A, to get the blade out of the water, and B, to get clearance right afterwards simultaneously across the entire boat. You don't need a metronome. You don't need somebody telling you. You should understand the timing and feel that across the entire boat. And that understanding of timing comes A, with kilometers. Now I understand that some of these sessions were up to 40, 48 kilometers. That's the entire tour of Lake Carapira. They were long, very long sessions. On the other hand side, you got to consider that this 8 is a very fast moving boat. So 40 kilometers in that 8 is not the same as 40 kilometers in a single. If you move forward, don't try to reach out to be extra long. And this is something I see with many novice coaches. They try to get their people to be extra long because they perceive length to be the most important thing. Of course, length is very important. But at the same time, sitting comfortably, quote unquote, so that you can repeat that motion consistently is more important than individual length. Your capacity to repeat a certain motion over and over and over and over again until you can work on fine, elaborate details is the key to build a reliably functioning sweep boat or even sculling boat. By the way, I like the house in the background here. Now, of course, you need hip mobility, you need flexibility, you need full range of motion capacity of your muscles. That's all given. So it takes personal physique or fitness to be able to do this. And of course, they all have it. What they understand, that's the case across the entire boat. They start to get a bit of upper body swing simultaneously. And that creates a synchronized effect on the boat. And therefore, accelerating that boat becomes what is perceived to be effortless. So essentially, they synced up the force curves. If you want to learn more about force curves, stay tuned. I'm going to bring out another video, possibly on the Bi-Rower channel. So if you haven't subscribed there, hop over to the Bi-Rower channel, subscribe it. I'm going to bring out a video what force curves are and what they actually mean. And I think what this 8 has perfected is the way to accelerate the boat with their upper body. A long leg drive mass, catch the finish. And I intentionally call it catch the finish because a lot of people don't control the finish enough. It's very controlled. At the same time, what appears to be loose is that not every possibly available muscle is being engaged when not needed. Towards the catch, it's loose and light hands. And the light hands allow you to place the blade in a very controlled manner because there's not a lot of body weight resting on your oar handles. That's another very important parameter. Tony, I'm so thankful that you put out this footage because if I were a college rower, high school rower, master's rower in an 8 right now, that 8 would become, I don't want to say my Bible or my standard, but it would become something I would try to accustom to in terms of just grasping the rhythm, grasping the looseness, and understanding of, okay, this is how you move a boat in steady state. There's a drive phase followed by actual true recovery phase. Understanding how little effort it takes, the discipline in the repetitiveness of motions. That would be my Bible. That would be my standard. I would just try to surround myself with this idea of rowing for as much as I can. Something I don't like, I said this, is the fact that the seat sometimes is very close to foot stretchers and the low trunk is very much upright and there is not as much upper body leverage capacity lift. I just want to point out, you find something that could be better even with the fastest crew in the world. The reason why I sit here in Vienna in my office and talk about this is A, to learn from the very, very, very best, and B, at the same time not to be frozen in awe and say, whatever you do, that's the only thing I'm ever going to look. No, I want you all to be to criticize, but at the same time to try to get to this level first. And okay, maybe if I strive to be like number 7 seed here, that stability, that understanding of rhythm, that power, the physique, I want to be like him. But maybe I'm not going to try to do something that different. Even stroke seat, long, loose, relaxed, lat and triceps stretched out, awesome. Maybe I don't want to use my upper body so early. Or maybe I want to use my upper body earlier. So be your own judge, what is good and what is not. Yeah, here you see it. You see, there's one thing, hands lead out and knees bend even before the hip is done rotating. So that would be a position I personally consider not to be super effective. But it doesn't mean it's ineffective. They became Olympic champions. So we have to be reasonable enough to understand you can row this way and still be Olympic champion. Do I personally consider it to be more effective to row like him? where the body is actually so connected with the hip that the entire trunk is able to move the hip along. Yeah, I think so, definitely. But at the same time, as long as you're able to create the same influence on that boat you share with 7 other rowers in one coxswain, you're going to be fast. And I think this is one of the reasons why this New Zealand 8 became Olympic champion. Their synchronicity in moving the boat, as well as the joint influence they have on the boat, is so good, along with their fluidity of motion, and because the force curves are synced up so well, their drive looks effortless. It is not effortless. There is a huge amount of work behind that. But it looks effortless because there's no unnecessary motion involved. And this is why you can go stroke rate 43, and that video is 1 minute and 27 seconds long overall, and that covers a 500-meter piece, the entire video. That was very, very, very quick. Okay, ladies and gents, that's about it. There's so much more to talk about, but I want you to hop over to Tony O'Connor's channel. I'm gonna link it in the description below. Tony, thank you once more for allowing me to use your footage. And study all the training footage you can find and try to model that. You know, every single one. Here, also number 7C, where I talked about the hip. Their rowing style is so fluid. They have such a comprehensive understanding of how to move that boat together. I'm so glad we also get to see footage like this, because that's where you spend most of your time with. If this video has delivered any value to you, leave me a thumbs up, put a comment in the comment section below, share the video and subscribe. That just helps me to bring out more videos like these. I recommend you hop over to Tony O'Connor's channel and check out his videos. And give him a thumbs up and subscribe to his channel, because Tony has done us a tremendous job by putting out training footage of the Olympic champion 8. And even if that 8 would not have become Olympic champion, but maybe winner of the B final, it would still be worthwhile watching and studying. With this being said, thank you so much for your time for watching this video. I wish you all the best, and I'm very much looking forward to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.